Hey everybody, welcome back to Kelly Barlow Creations. If you're new to my channel and you're stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube should notify you every time I upload a new video, depending on the option that you choose in the drop-down menu of the bell. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links, you guessed it, in the description box below. What have I got going on for you for today? Oh my word, I am 2 days late on posting this video and I am so stinking sorry, but life has just been crazy in this house. As most of you know, my son moved out about 6 months ago, and before the virus broke out, I had just started to transfer Allie from her nursery into his room and then make Allie's nursery a guest room when Ray ended up getting exposed to COVID. He got COVID, and because Allie's room was the easiest room to block off with plastic so we could bring Ray home and quarantine him, we quickly just kind of took Allie's toys out of her room, put them in Ray's room, quarantined off the room with plastic and tape so Ray could come home and I could take care of him for the 21 days that he was here and quarantined in that room. And so we never got to finish moving the rooms, painting them, even taking Allie's furniture out of her room. She just was in Ray's room with her toys. So long story short, over the last 3 days, I have been painting like a mad woman, taking furniture out of the rooms, putting the furniture in the middle of my house. And finally, the rooms are painted. The furniture is in their rightful room. Allie's room is almost completely done and she is so stinking happy, but it was just impossible for me to edit and upload a video because I just was so determined to get this stuff done because I really just wanted it done and I didn't want to draw it out and have it take a couple of weeks. I just wanted it done. And so I went from 6 o'clock in the morning, I kid you not, until midnight for 3 days in a row. And the job is done. All that's left to do really is just to add some decor pieces to each of the rooms. But I'm just I feel like relieved. I feel like I just checked off one of the biggest things that I needed to get done this summer, and I'm just happy that it's done. And so since I just finished last night at midnight, I thought, you know what? I need to work today and I need to post this block video for you today. My word, do I have a DIY for you today that is gonna cost you $5 plus the cost of paint if you don't have paint already. And it is so easy and the outcome is so rustic and farmhouse. You are going to love it. I will say that this is one of those DIYs that can be done to suit any decor style, but because I just absolutely love that rustic farmhouse feel, that's the style that I went for. You are going to love this DIY. It's quick, it's easy, and it's budget friendly because it's gonna cost you $5. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into it and let me show you what I have in mind for you for today. This DIY using Dollar Tree Jenga blocks. You're gonna love this. Alrighty, for this DIY, you're gonna need a total of 138 blocks, which is 4.3 boxes of Dollar Tree's Jenga blocks to be exact. So you're just gonna need to pick up 5 boxes and you're gonna have some left over. To glue the blocks together today, I'll be using this woodwork glue by Crafter's Square. If you can't get your hands on this glue, Aleene's glue or any wood glue is a great alternative. For today's DIY, I'm gonna do it a bit differently. I'm not gonna show you the whole long drawn out process of gluing each individual block together, but I will show you here initially how I glue the blocks together, the technique that I use, how easy it is. You can see here how I go about doing it. I'm gonna start off by gluing together 6 rows of 16 blocks. And so I'm gonna glue them together side by side, as you can see that I'm doing here. And if you just kind of place the glue on the side and just kind of put it together with the next one, put more glue, put it in place, you'll see that it comes together pretty quickly. Gluing these blocks together does not take long at all. I don't initially worry about getting my blocks straight until I've gotten them all glued together. Once I've got them all glued together, I like to take just a regular ruler. If you've got one of Dollar Tree's square rulers or 90-degree rulers, it's a great way just to kind of press the blocks up against it so you get that one straight edge. Now don't worry if your blocks are uneven on the top edge, it's okay because we're gonna fix that later on. You just wanna really make sure that one side is good and straight. And so again, just to reiterate, you're gonna need 6 rows of 16 blocks. Once you've got your 6 rows glued together, you're gonna let them dry. Then we're gonna take 4 of the rows, and on one of the bottom or top edges, I'm gonna place some of the wood glue, and I'm gonna glue 2 of the rows of 16 together, just like you see that I'm doing here. And I'm gonna do that with 2 sets. So you're gonna have 2 rows of 16 glued together, just like you're seeing here. I'm not gonna fast forward the video because I just want you to see how I'm doing it. I think seeing it is a bit easier than me explaining it when working with these blocks. You'll see here that I glued together 2 sets of 3 blocks. You're gonna need to do that. And I've also got the 2 rows of 16 that are left over. On these blocks of 3, I'm just gonna place some glue on the sides here. You want all your blocks to be going the same direction. So you really kind of wanna make sure and do that. And once I've got the glue on those top edges, I'm just gonna glue all 4 pieces together just like so. Don't worry if there's any gaps in your blocks because it will be remedied, I promise. And so you'll be left with this, and this is what you want to be left with. We're gonna set all our pieces aside and we're gonna let them get good and dry. It should only take about a half an hour for them to completely dry. You're also gonna need to glue together 4 rows of 9 blocks, again side by side. Then again, we're gonna take the glue, place it on the bottom edge of our blocks, and we're gonna glue 2 rows of 9 together twice. Just again, like you see me doing here. Really, it doesn't take long for these blocks to be glued together. This is a pretty quick project. I'd say all in all, it probably took me a total of an hour and a half to do this. If this seems confusing, I wanted to do a quick recap and just kind of show you all of the pieces that you should have glued together. So we had initially 6 rows of 16, 4 of which we glued 2 of them together. The other 2 rows of 16 here are off to the side, and we glued those together with the 2 sets of 3 here on the top and the bottom. Then you're also gonna need the 4 rows of 9, and again, we glued 2 rows together each, so leaving us with these 5 pieces. Now all that's left to do is to put these 5 pieces together. It really is that easy. So we've got the 2 rows of 16 that we glued together. There's 2 sets of these. I'm gonna place glue on the short end of these sets. And again, there's 2 of these sets. So by placing the glue on both ends, we can then take the rows of 9 and place it on each end. And so we're just gonna stand these up, we're gonna glue them together, and we're gonna make a box. Now, once we've done this, you don't wanna let this dry. You're gonna wanna just move on to the next step, because if you let it dry, you won't be able to kind of maneuver your sides once we put the top on. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put some glue on this top edge because that's where this last piece is gonna go. And if you haven't guessed already, yes, we are making a wood tissue box holder. Once I put the top on this, you're gonna wanna kind of move your sides around to the outside edges to line them up with the top. Once you've got it all in place, go ahead and let it dry, and then we're gonna move on to the next step where we are making this so rustic and farmhouse. You're gonna love it. Using some of this spackling that I get from the Dollar Tree, I love this stuff because it works great for filling in all the gaps and all the holes when working with these blocks. It is such an easy way to use these blocks and not have to worry about if all of your blocks line up, if there's gaps in there. It dries pretty quickly. Once it's good and dry, just take a lightweight sandpaper and you can very easily go over it. and kind of smooth out that spackling. I don't suggest using a sponge with the spackling while it's wet because you really want those gaps to fill in. And sanding this really doesn't take long. I think it took me maybe 5 minutes to do the whole box because it just kind of comes off pretty easily and it smooths out pretty quickly. And you can see just how it left a really nice finish. And so I'm happy with the way this looks. This is a good solid piece. All those gaps, there were some pretty big gaps in this. They are filled in. And so we are ready to move on to the next step, which is painting and distressing this. And I will be using some of Waverly's chalk paint in the color of Cashew, one of my favorites, because I feel like it's just such a nice cross between a cream and a tan. And so it's just got a bit more brown in it, and that's what I love because it makes it a lot easier to give it that rustic, aged, distressed look. I'm gonna give this a good couple coats of this paint. Once it's good and dry, I decided that I was gonna use the same technique for distressing this that I've used with my farmhouse sign and my stovetop cover. So the same colors I will be using because this will be in the family room, which is right next to my kitchen. I'm gonna go with some of Waverly's hazelnut and just the black ink, and both are a matte finish paint. I'm gonna go ahead and put some spots, just kind of sporadically, randomly place some spots, and this really does just save on doing multiple coats of paint. I have heard in the comment section from several people that they were kind of put off by this technique. This is a technique that I use. If you want to use the multiple layers of paint, you totally can. I just feel like it saves on paint and it saves on time. And so once I've got all my spots where I want them, I'm gonna go ahead, again, let them dry before we take some sandpaper and just soften up all of these lines, really give it that aged, old look. This tissue box has been places. We want it to have what looks like a story to it, that it's been in a lot of different places and it's gotten a lot of use. That's one of my favorite things about aged antique pieces is we do collect a lot of antiques, and I like to wonder about where they were, who used them, and how they were used. And I think that that's just kind of a fun part of antiquing things too, and this will be a piece that will most definitely be around for a while. And to give this more of a finished look so you're not seeing the raw wood of the blocks, I figured since I had the black chalk paint out, I'd go ahead and give the inside of this a good coat of this paint. I wanted to add a bit of something onto the sides of this tissue box, but I didn't want to put the word farmhouse because I have that on the other two pieces that I've done. And so in my stencil stash, I saw that I had this adorable farm animal stencil, and I thought the pig would be perfect for this. So using a sponge dabber and the black ink chalk paint, I did only one coat of this. You can very easily just go ahead and take the stencil off. Don't worry about the bleedage if there was any, because it's just going to add character to this. It's going to add to the age of it. Once it's good and dry, again, I'm going to take my sandpaper and just sand over this adorable little piggy and distress it a bit, lighten it up just a bit. And there you have it. Isn't that stinking adorable? I love this. Now, I want to tell you that the tissue that I am using for this box in this video is one that I got from the Dollar Tree, but when I made this box, I wanted to take into consideration that there are different size tissue boxes. And so I didn't want this to just fit this one size box. And so I did make it a bit bigger on the sides. So when I flip it over, you will see that there is plenty of room for a bigger, even taller box because there is a height difference and there's wiggle room. And so this is gonna work for just about any tissue box that is a rectangle one. Guess what? It's Wednesday, and that means Kayla has uploaded a new video. Make sure to head on over to her channel after this. Check out her artistic talent with drawing this week. You can find the link to her video in the description box below. I just love this piece. I really do. Over the last few months, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I may have a slight obsession with tissue box holders, but that is because everybody in my family has like the extreme case of seasonal allergies. And for some reason, this year, I think it's because it's been a bit more windy where I live than usual. Everybody's allergies seem to have been going year round this year. And so we have tissue boxes everywhere in this house, and we always have. And so I like to just, since they're gonna be there, make them a decor piece. And I just think that it is so fun to have a tissue box holder out that you can change seasonally or for the holidays, or one that you can just keep out like this one. I hope you all enjoyed today's DIY using the Jenga blocks that you can get from the Dollar Tree. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get this video to, you guessed it, 5,000 likes. Because like I always say, each and every one of your thumbs up and those comments that you leave down below, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget, and bye for now, everybody.